is a country with a captivating history. It is filled with ancient ruins and stories of empires and civilizations built and eventually lost. Tucked into this history is another origin story. This one about two brave missionaries who brought the Seventh-day Adventist faith and so much more to the people of Peru. It all started in 1911 on the shores of Lake Titicaca in the southern part of the country. After serving in Bolivia for 2 years, American missionaries Fernando and Ana Stahl asked to be placed in Peru so they could begin work with the Aymara and Quechua Indians. They started their mission by organizing hygiene classes, teaching the public about personal care and basic health. They established a church, clinics, markets. The Stahls helped to establish an educational system that created 200 schools in the Lake Titicaca region, enrolling thousands of students. They baptized hundreds of people in the area before moving on to other parts of Peru. This is the original home of Ana and Fernando Stahl in Plateria. It currently serves as a small museum honoring the revolutionary work of the Stahls. Pastor Sunan Kutipa is a caretaker of the property and also the pastor of the Plateria Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Al pastor Fernando Stahl y su obra, las cosas que hicieron ellos, la gente está muy agradecida. Ha sido un impacto fuertemente, porque el hecho de que no hubiese una iglesia protestante, y es gracias a él, las personas llegan a amar a la palabra de Dios, a Dios, conocen a Dios.
Through their schools, the Stahls also brought literacy to the highlands, teaching them how to read, write, and study. This education ultimately helped the indigenous people to free themselves. Today, Adventists are known for their great work in the field of education and contribution to healthcare. Overall, the church is very well known in Plateria and Puno, and many people identify as Adventists themselves. But the impact of the Stahls isn't localized to just Plateria. The legacy of their work radiates throughout the greater region surrounding Lake Titicaca and Peru. It is a legacy that Maranatha continues today as we respond to continual requests for more churches and schools in the country. And Pastor Kutipa says this work does not go unnoticed. Congregations have taken note of the work Maranatha has done in Peru. They have seen how Maranatha's mission is an answer to prayer for those in need of a place to worship or a place to learn. They have also seen how these same buildings can be a powerful tool for sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Y el trabajo que hace Maranatha le va a beneficiar grandemente para que muchas personas también puedan conocer a Dios y ellos puedan alcanzar el plan de salvación que Jesucristo ha dejado en esta tierra para cada uno de nosotros, ¿no? Se conecta grandemente con el trabajo que hicieron los pioneros, empezando por Fernando Stahl.
In 2023, Maranatha is committed to building 100 churches and also classrooms for a school campus. In today's episode of Maranatha Mission Stories, we'll visit communities in Puno, Juliaca, and Urubamba to hear their stories of faith, belonging, and need. It's recess at the Lake Titicaca Seventh-day Adventist School in Juliaca, just a couple hours' drive from Plateria. This school started in 1922 with 70 students. Today, there are more than 1,000 students who attend.
Esta es una institución que ha sido formada por la gracia de Dios, nuestros pioneros, hace 100 años, porque cumplimos 100 años el 22 de septiembre de 1922, se ha formado esta institución, ¿no?, con la finalidad de poder predicar su palabra y formar líderes dentro de la institución. Y es por ello que desde aquellos años se ve denominado como una luz en los Andes.
In the past century, the school has had thousands of students pass through its doors, and they go on to become leaders in the church and their communities. Over time, the campus has expanded to accommodate children from preschool through high school, buildings have sprouted up over the expansive campus, including a university. Maranatha even played a role in the continuing success of the school by building an education and evangelism center in 2005.
De acuerdo a la demanda y la necesidad y el trabajo que se hacía en la institución, los padres vinieron a matricular a sus hijos. Entonces, al nosotros tener mayor cantidad de estudiantes, no sabíamos dónde acogerlos. Pero viene el proyecto de Maranatha y eso sirvió muchísimo para poder tener nuestro propio espacio de primaria ahí y poder atender a los pequeños que venían.
But even with this large footprint, the school is in need of space once more. The school's reputation has triggered a high interest in the program. From the values-based education to the staff of caring Adventist teachers, Lake Titicaca's curriculum produces excellent students. Families are wanting to send their children to the school. Additionally, Lake Titicaca has been creating scholarship programs for those who seek Adventist education but are unable to afford tuition. But providing financial assistance also leads to an overall increase in enrollment. Both of these factors contribute to the urgent need for additional classrooms, and for now, there simply isn't enough space to meet the demand. Marisol says that the school is truly a tool for sharing the gospel. The majority of the students in attendance are not Adventist. However, the experience at the school is centered on Adventist values.
Mostramos a Jesús en todo lo que hacemos. La Biblia gira en torno a todo lo que se le enseña en las diferentes áreas. Y bueno, los bautismos sí se dan, ¿no? Se van a través de las semanas de oraciones y las visitas que hacen los pastores en diferentes hogares.
Tatiana Huaeta is a student at the high school. When her family moved to Juliaca in 2019, her parents immediately sought out a good school for her to attend. Many recommended the Lake Titicaca School. She said she was immediately struck by the nice classrooms, the space, and the caring environment. What she likes most about the school is how teachers are always available to help the students with questions or clarifications. Most of all, she loves the incorporation of worship and God into the curriculum.
En mis clases, cuando empezamos, los profesores lo que hacen es hacer una oración. Primero, uno puede ser que o del docente o puede ser que uno de mis compañeros, de mis estudiantes. Después empezamos con una breve meditación, hacemos la meditación y después recién empezamos con el tema. Y lo que hace mayormente la administración es hacer semanas espirituales. Es uno donde pastores vienen, nos cuentan historias muy bonitas sobre la Biblia y después de eso, cuando termina la semana, hacen un llamado en el cual muchos de mis compañeros han entregado su vida a Jesús.
With such a strong culture of faith and academic excellence, Lake Titicaca is only bound to keep growing.
Considero de que es conocido porque se tiene esta frase, no es una luz en los Andes. Y mientras Dios esté en este lugar, este colegio va a brillar y va a ser lo mejor.
This year, Maranatha is committed to building 6 more classrooms at the Lake Titicaca Adventist School campus. This project still needs funding. Make an investment in the next generation of believers by making a gift. Call the number on the screen to help. When we come back, we visit a church that has been waiting for Maranatha's return to Peru for years. Lake Titicaca is the highest navigable lake in the world and the largest in South America. It spreads over the border of Peru into Bolivia. It was along these iconic shores that the Stalls planted hundreds of churches. The impact of this work is still evident today, as the region has more than 50,000 Adventists. Here in the hills surrounding the lake, there is an Adventist congregation named Nueva Jerusalén. The church started 33 years ago in 1990. Unlike North America's preference for large congregations, in Peru, where cars and public transportation may not be as accessible, small neighborhood churches are preferred. And in this case, a group of siblings decided to break off from their church to start a congregation closer to home. After initially meeting in a member's house, the group managed to buy this property. The land had an existing structure, an adobe temple with metal ceilings. It had a couple of bathrooms and spaces for children's classrooms. The simple building served them well as the group increased in size, but then everything started to fall apart.
En el 2017, las paredes de adobe se van remojando con la lluvia del vecino, ¿ya? Y aparte de eso, acá al costado es un poco húmedo, hay ojo de agua, ya, manantial. Entonces, de eso más se va remojando el adobe, cosa que ya no se podía asistir. En época de lluvia, el piso era lleno de agua.
A section of the wall seen here was completely damaged. It was an area where people sat, and everyone was afraid the wall would collapse.
Necesitábamos otro templo, pues ya no tenía, estaba por derrumbar.
When the church heard that Maranatha was coming to Peru, they were happy to learn that Nueva Jerusalén was on the list for a new church. They demolished the old building to prepare for a new one. In the meantime, they met at the home of church members. It was a temporary space while they waited for volunteers to arrive. But then, everything changed. COVID hit and Maranatha paused all projects. People, including the members of Nueva Jerusalén, could no longer gather.
Como anciano, hay momentos en tiempo de pandemia, después de la destrucción del templo, he estado solo. Y no sabes cuánto he llorado porque me sentía solo, me sentía impotente. ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Cómo voy a construir? Me sentía culpable de tumbar este templo.
Jose remembers the misery of being homeless as a church family. No one knew quite what to do, and some people left altogether. But Jose and the remaining families entrusted their future to God and waited for the support of Maranatha. When things opened up for worship, the congregation returned to the empty property. They built a patio. Then they started meeting again. Church or no church, it was time to start again what they had begun so many years ago. It was time to begin preaching the Word of God no matter what. The group focused not on their own needs, but on their mission to share the gospel with evangelism meetings and prayers. Slowly, the group built back up. And slowly, Maranatha returned to Peru with a promise to build the Nueva Jerusalén Church in 2023.
No sabe cuánto agradezco a Dios por esos corazones por los corazones de aquellos hermanos que participan en el grupo Maranatha. Yo quisiera darle todo mi corazón. No saben cuánto nos va a ayudar, porque nuestro anhelo es predicar el Evangelio.
Jose's biggest hope is to preach the gospel to young people, like his own children. He says a proper place of worship will provide a base where the youth can learn to be missionaries too, so that one day Jose and his children can preach the good news together. Fortunately, that day may come soon. After years of waiting, in March 2023, volunteers arrived in Puno to begin construction on the Nueva Jerusalén Church. About an hour from the Nueva Jerusalén Church in the city of Juliaca, there is another congregation that has set its hopes on young people. Really young people. This is the Moragachi Seventh-day Adventist Church. This is just a weekday meeting, but on a typical Sabbath, this space is packed with people, mostly children. Moragachi is located in a suburb of Juliaca. It is a fast-growing area with lots of families who have chosen to raise their children away from the city center.
Las personas también, ¿no? Vienen con ese sueño de educar a sus hijos, que sus hijos crezcan, que sean mejores cada día.
This abundance of young families is exactly why Moragachi is pouring a lot of energy into children's programs. Gladys Ricaldi is one of the children's leaders and original members. When she first moved here to the area, she didn't expect children to be the focus of the congregation. But when she went knocking on doors to invite people to church, she found a big population of kids.
Nosotros venimos pensábamos que iba a haber personas adultas, pero nos damos la sorpresa que había más niños. Y cuando invitamos, salimos a visitarlos casa por casa, a ver los niños, ¿no? Porque cuando venimos traemos refrigerio para que ellos también compartir con ellos.
Gladys says the church is happy to work with children because eventually, little by little, they'll share the message with their parents. The group had a property and managed to build a space for worship. It's a space that is now geared mostly toward their demographic. And every adult attending the church is excited about the focus.
Me siento muy feliz de trabajar aquí con los niños porque sabemos que ellos son la generación futura. Y si bien es cierto, ellos son los que un día liderarán esta iglesia, ¿no? Y el entusiasmo que ellos tienen al escuchar la palabra de Dios, se sienten felices, ¿no?
Pastor Ginés says that they are preparing the children to assume leadership roles in the future. It is an exciting and fulfilling assignment for him, as he is excited to be growing the church for generations to come. The problem now is that they need more space. It's a good problem to have, but it urgently needs a solution. Membership at Moragachi is rapidly increasing. The strategy of creating a strong children's program has worked, and parents are beginning to attend on Sabbath. The church has also drawn the attention of the local neighbors, and they have started attending too. Additionally, the children and adults are needing their own separate spaces for meetings. Currently, the groups take turns meeting outside. But this is hardly a good solution, especially on days when the weather is too hot or rainy. The hope is to build a new church on the front part of the property and to use the current space as Sabbath school classrooms. Fortunately, Moragachi is on the list to receive a new church as part of Maranatha's current effort in Peru. Once constructed, there's no telling how fast they'll need another one. After all, they're investing in a very promising future.
Por ejemplo, Moragachi ha visto que hay un gran potencial en niños. Hay muchos niños aquí. Las familias tienen muchos hijos, ¿no? Entonces, ellos se podría aprovechar ese público que muchas veces se descuida de las iglesias y crear de ellos grandes líderes en un futuro, ¿no? Sabemos que ellos un día van a crecer. Sabemos que un día ellos van a ser líderes de aquí de Moragachi.
When we come back, we visit a church where the children have grown up and are now leading the congregation into the future. About 240 miles north of Puno is the Sacred Valley of the Incas. This verdant valley stretches 62 miles long and is surrounded by some of Peru's highest mountains. The Sacred Valley was home to multiple civilizations, including the Incan Empire. The history of this beautiful area is found in its numerous ruins scattered across the region, including the world-famous Machu Picchu. While the Stalls did not settle in this area, the Adventist message made its way to the valley. Today there are nearly a dozen churches in the region, with the first being the Villa Hermoso Rumichaca Seventh-day Adventist Church in Urubamba.
Bueno, hablar de la iglesia de Rumichaca es como que te digo, como una familia. Ya eres parte, ingresas a la iglesia y ya eres parte de la familia. El espíritu es motivador porque aquí quien llegue de donde sea o de donde es, aquí es bienvenido porque somos hermanos. Y el espíritu de los hermanos es ese espíritu de joven.
The church was established in the late 1980s by Isabella's grandfather. Isabella's brother Wilbur remembers those early days so long ago.
Entonces, cuando nosotros llegamos aquí, la iglesia no estaba todavía. Me recuerdo cuando era un niño de 6 años, entonces nos reuníamos en lugares donde no había ni techo, nada, solamente debajo de los árboles.
From there, Isabella's grandfather and others kept carrying the gospel to other towns, planting churches, even some that Maranatha built. Over time, the congregation dispersed, helping to grow other churches in the area. But Isabella, Wilbur, and their brother David eventually returned to their childhood church with their own families. After all, Rumichaca was a part of the region's Adventist heritage, and sharing the gospel was a part of the Mamani legacy.
Queriendo seguir los pasos de Dios, queriendo seguir los pasos de nuestros abuelos, de mi abuelo y de mi papá. Queremos seguir adelante, predicando.
But first, they need a new church. As lovely as this adobe structure appears, there are numerous challenges to the congregation. For one, the church is sunken into the ground. After it was constructed, the government built an elevated road in front. Not only does it visually block the building, it creates other problems. During the rainy season, the sanctuary floods as water pours in from the street above. Overhead, the old metal roof has deteriorated over time. When it rains, water leaks from overhead. There have been times when the family has thought about demolishing the church altogether, but there is too much generational history for them to let go and give up. But the poor condition of the church has provided challenges for the congregation, not only structurally, but also when it comes to outreach. In an effort to grow the membership, Wilbur frequently invites friends to worship, but few are impressed with the space. In fact, it's a deterrent.
En tu iglesia es muy pequeña, entonces no hay esa atracción para que puedan venir a aprender la palabra de Dios.
Isabella is hoping that Maranatha Volunteers International will be the answer to their prayers. It's a prayer she has been praying since she was 12 years old.
En esa época decían Maranata. ¡Wow! ¿Cómo es Maranata? Decía. Entonces me recuerdo que esa vez mis papás, así como nos alistábamos, nos preparábamos para recibirlos, ¿no? Maranata. Yo pensé en ese tiempo que se iba a construir esta iglesia. Y yo estaba tan feliz con mi papá, mi mamá y mis hermanos, ¿no?
But to the congregation's disappointment, Maranatha chose to build a more urgent need in the area instead. Over time, Isabella finished high school and went on to university. Then, she heard a rumor that Maranatha was returning to Peru. She remembers being surprised and hopeful about the possibilities.
Justo ahí aparece la pandemia. Otra vez dijimos, hermanos, creo que nuestros hermanos no van a venir de Maranatha por el tema del COVID. Entonces ya creo que ya no van a venir, porque este tema del COVID creo que ha chocado bastante a todos y todos también abajo económicamente y todos están en otra situación, ¿no?
But then Maranatha returned to Peru, and Isabella's church is back on the list to potentially be constructed. While Maranatha has yet to make a decision on whether or not Villa Hermoso Rumichaca can be funded, Isabella and her brothers are continuing to pray just as they did more than 15 years ago.
Quiero que mi generación y los niños que tengo conozcan a Dios. No hay más bonito que conocer a Dios y que tu vida cambie en realidad.
Just like the members at the Morogachi Church in Juliaca, Jose in Nueva Jerusalén in Puno, and the faculty at the Lake Titicaca Adventist School in Juliaca, the people of Peru are investing in their young people. They are planting seeds and nurturing growth that will pay dividends in the future, a future that is full of new believers, new leaders, and new hope. A future that continues to spread the light of the Andes that was first sparked by Fernando and Ana Stahl. A light, a legacy that continues to shine bright in Peru from now until the day of his return. Maranatha!